In 2011, Riot Games hosted the first Major League of Legends tournament.
Worlds.
We have about 80 to 90 people sitting in front of us right now.
Since then, many esports events have been held, and although majority have been successful, sometimes stuff happens.
5 members strong. Twister Fate is trying to get towards this pit, has his teleport available as we...
Holy moly. Booksplat. To už jsem neviděl strašně dlouho, tady tu obrazovku s Booksplatem. To se děje pořád, nebo ještě ne?
Internet issues, computer problems, to sometimes even the players themselves having their own problems.
Yeah, looks like there it is. Bathroom break, baby. I mean, when you gotta go, right?
Today we take a look back at times when esports events went through some sort of technical difficulties. But before we get into that, today's video is sponsored by Porofessor. Getting into a game with Porofessor is like having an additional teammate on your team. One that you can actually rely on. This is a companion app for League of Legends that provides you with everything you need to be ahead of the competition. The app provides you with automatically importing the best runes for your champion, an in-game overlay letting you know how your performance
Ten import na ty runy nepoužívám teda jako jediný
is going, to jungle timers on the map letting you know exactly when both camps and inhibitors will respawn.
Akorát nechápu, proč ty timery nejsou už jako zabudovaný v té hře rovnou. Číňani to tam mají, volá, my kurva ne, my na to musíme mít apky.
Is only a portion of what Porofessor can do for you. Even before getting into the game, Porofessor is giving you details about teammates and the enemy team that may help you maneuver the game into a victory. Porofessor is completely safe to use, complies with Riot's terms, and you can start using it today for free with the first link in the description. One of the most notorious technical difficulties in esports history is the
Season 2 jim vypadávala hra furt. Oni hráli 3krát jednu hru, ona vždycky spadla v polovině a hráli 3krát nebo 4krát. No.
Finals of Worlds in 2012. This was a best-of-3 series between CLG and Team World Elite. CLG took Game 1, World
a CLG to vyhráli, to je evropský tým.
Elite took Game 2, and the final game is where we run into problems.
58 minut.
Game 3 went on for over 59 minutes until the internet stopped working.
CLG!
Já. Chcete vědět, jak to dopadlo? Spadlo to ještě asi 2krát po 40 minutách hry a pak všem fanouškům, co tam byli, Riot objednal pizzu a dal jim free RPčka, myslím, že? Dal jim $20 karty na RPčka, jako omluvu, že neviděli výsledek té hry. A druhý den to dohráli někde bez fanoušků, no.
This was kind of a disaster. Angry players, angry viewers, and unfortunately due to the circumstances, all they could do was fix the internet and have the game played all over again. And so they did. But 25 minutes after the game was restarted, the internet stopped working again. Riot would spend the next hour or even more trying to fix the issue while only running into more problems. To which the decision was made to just end the show. One of Riot's co-founders, Brandon Beck, stepped on stage to deliver the bad news. However, for the fans that stuck through all the technical issues, they were rewarded with free pizza, merch, and even free Riot points.
Be patient with us today. I want to talk about what we're going to do for you guys, the live audience. We're going to be refunding your tickets. I'm sure you don't care about that, but we're going to be refunding.
A ještě jim refunduli tikety, vole. Peníze za lístky, wow.
We're going to be giving you guys $25 in Riot points.
$25 dokonce.
Now, interesting to note, after all these years, things like this still happen. Just recently, in September of 2022, a match was delayed for over 2 hours due to audio issues. During a best-of-5 LCS playoff match between Evil Geniuses and TSM, an audio issue was discovered during Game 2, and the game was paused 7 different times, causing a 36-minute game to last over an hour. And after the game concluded, LCS engineers came out and took 2 hours to attempt to fix the issue, while players waited in the back and viewers waited at home. And the worst part was that after 2 hours, the issue wasn't even...
Co má za účest, dívej se, to se si nikdy nevšiml, že má Impact takovýhle vlastně. Je to Impact, že jo? On furt ještě hraje, kam? On hraje už od Season 3? Nebo od Season 2 snad? On byl v SKT, když vyhráli první šampionát, jakoby za Koreu, v Season 3. A pak šel do Ameriky a furt tam hraje, vole. To se musí docela jako ocenit, ne?
Fixed. But after waiting for so long, both teams just agreed to play on, regardless of the audio problem. Touching grass. The universal meme created to tell gamers to go outside.
Jo, to mi říkají každý den tady lidi. Dotkni se trávy, streamere, vole.
Well, Riot agrees, and on occasion, Riot has hosted some of their major tournaments outside. But as you can imagine, this can lead to some problems. In the 2012 World Quarterfinals, which we just spoke about, an issue that quickly became evident was the sun getting in the players' and casters' eyes. You could see that later on, the casters were wearing hats.
Já si pamatuju, že když jsme hráli na stage třeba, takže mi byla zima, že to bylo v zimě. Byli jsme na výstavišti v Praze někde, a že to byla fakt velká hala v zimě a strašně mi mrzly ruce, se nedalo hrát, kámo se zmrzlýma rukama skoro. To fakt nepříjemný.
To cover their eyes. But mistakes happen, and Riot will learn to never try this again. Nope, they went on to host at least a couple more major tournament stages in outside venues. 9 years after the Season 2 sun problems, in the 2021 LCS mid-season finals, Riot ran into the exact same issue. They hosted...
Na téhleté stage odhalili Pentakill album nový, že jo? Tady na té stage odhalili nový Pentakill album, který bylo 21, ne?
To be fair, when done right, it can look pretty cool. This was the Brazilian League's final in 2020, hosted on top of a building. Although I'm sure that setup had the same screen glare issues, but at least it looked cool.
Nice.
Moving along, like I mentioned earlier, sometimes the game stops working, but on occasion, it is the player themselves that stops working. In a previous video, we discussed emergency bathroom breaks.
When everything's on the line, and nature calls, nature comes first. Toilet issue.
To je nejhorší, když máš strašných chcání, hraješ 40-minutovou hru a se nemůžeš soustředit na tu hru, kurva, když jí plaská močák.
Why are we calling it that?
Some things to note: once a pause is initiated, whether it be for a technical issue or abnormal bowel movements, the players on stage are not allowed to talk to each other. This is to prevent these pauses from being used as a sort of timeout where players can pause the game and plan their next move.
Bang, he's reading about one of our sponsors here.
What is happening?
It's like, oh, what is this drink all about? Oh, let me take a sip.
Se stalo před pár týdnama, ne?
These pauses are labeled
že to byl Gumayushi nebo Kerry, a se šel vychcat prostě po 50-minutové hře.
Differently for the audience, however, often referred to as nature calls or toilet issues. But interestingly enough, the official LCS rules do not mention bathrooms, washrooms, or any wording of that sort. So it seems bathroom breaks are not encouraged. The only section it could really fall under is where that a player can request a referee to pause the game if the player is feeling ill. Though on the other hand, players do sometimes pause the game due to feeling unwell. Recently, a player in the LPL paused the game after performing a pretty bad play. And it's fair to be skeptical here if the player is actually sick or wants an excuse for why he played so poorly.
Are they actually going to go for dive here? No, Castle wide on the queue. Has his safeguard to protect his mid laner is hung. An aggressive flash in there, Xiaomi surviving as Castle just takes it down. Hung, I mean, he saw the play. 100 damage off.
Boy.
And Castle, look at him
Look at the camera.
As the pause comes out, he's like, yeah, I'm sure it's a bug, bro.
Yeah. It seems like you got an update for us. What is...
Yeah, apparently Hung feels sick, which is why the game has been paused. I'm going to be honest, if I'd pulled off that play, I'd feel a little bit sick as well.
These are just some of the more interesting times when esports events ran into issues. But realistically, there's countless moments that even I'm probably not aware of. But we send off with some honorable mentions. An entire game remade because a player picked the wrong skin, a player pausing the game because his foot fell asleep. Riot said, we don't authorize pauses for that, so
jak jako jeho noha usnula, vole. Co to jako znamená?
he's received a warning.
Jakože dostal mravence do nohy, to mám furt. Vždycky dám nohu jaksi skrouceně tady, vole, pod prdel. Pak ji vyndám a necítím ji a úplně to bolí, ne, a mravenčí.
And of course, requesting to pause the game because your chair was uncomfortable.
Looks like we actually will have a short delay as there was a pause. Not sure what the issue is. We'll let you guys know as soon as possible. Apparently Wolf wants a new chair.
Jo, nějaký hráč, myslím, že to byl, já nevím, jaký hráč, nějaký Korejec, si vždycky změřil prostě přesně, jak vysoko od stolu má monitor a všechno si to prostě přeměřil, ne, aby to měl tak jak normálně, vole. Mě přišel si s pravítkem na stage a měřil si tam ty monitory, ne? Jaký má vysoko a teda, jaký má nakloněný, vole, úhloměrem asi a jak vysoko má stůl. A dává to smysl, jako, dává to smysl, jo. Dobré videjku, dáme tam like, samozřejmě brosky. Budeme rád lolko teda, ať se neposere všechno, že jo.